But I studied for so long, where is his wealth? My buddy became very angered. He wanted to punish him. Punish means to have him die. But a voice came from heaven and said to Rabbi Abad, don't punish this young man if you become a great rabbi in the future. Play along with him. The story of somebody who came and brought a cup of paz. Paz is a type of gold that is so rare, it's worth much more than diamonds. He said to Rabbi Abad, I want to donate this cup of gold for the sake of Torah. I want to become like Yisachar and Zebulun, partners. I want to provide money for one who studies Torah, and I should share the mitzvah in studying Torah. The man said, you came to the right place. He called aside his young man, and he told him, here's this cup of paz, here's the wealth you will promise. The young man continued studying Torah, and one day Rabbi Abba found him sitting there crying very bitterly. I asked him why he was crying, and he said, I'm crying because I realize now the value of Torah. The Torah, the pasuk says that Torah is far more precious than any gems that exist. Why should I sell my share of Torah for the sake of gold or any earthly value? Rabbi Abbas said to him, now you have reached the point that I want. He took this cup of paz, came back to its owner and told him, I'm going to give this cup of paz to the poor students in the yeshiva and you'll have more reward. This student of Rabbi Abbas' name was Rabbi Yossi, and that day he was called Rabbi Yossi ben Pazi. Rabbi Yossi, the son of Paz. In the Gemara you find this very often stated that Rabbi Yossi ben Pazi, Rabbi ben Pazi, his son, Torah. In the Gemara you never realize why he was called ben Pazi. The Zohar explains the origin of this name. In fact, the Zohar tells us that one day Yossi ben Pazi came to the house of a certain man, visited there, and walked in and found a yunuta. Yunuta means a child who is very much advanced. In those days there were these children who would be born with the faculties, the knowledge of the former Gilgul. They would be complete tzadikim. They would retain the same neshama from the past, the same knowledge, though they were only an average of 4 or 5 years old. So this yunuta, this child, and the mother said to the child, go over to this rabbi, Rabbi Yossi, receive a blessing from him. The child said to Rabbi Yossi, why should I take a blessing from you? I see that you're an older man and you have a young neshama. Old man and a young neshama. Rabbi Yossi was amazed. He said to him, it's true. It's very true. And the reason is, of course, that I did just develop religion, study after that, at a later age. That's why Shulchan which you receive in the study for that, is younger than myself. But the fact is that though I received it at a later age, Baruch Hashem, I have advanced myself to a point that is equal to the other rabbis of the Gemara. The old story of the Zohar continues there about the holiness of the parents who, because of their purity, deserve to have such a child born to them. The rabbi, the Imam Rabbi Adab bar Ahava, also, you would never know the reason for it, this was the son of this person, Yossi Bismuth. We see from there that there is wealth when it comes to a person who studies, even not for the sake of the mitzvah of Torah, because the Gemara advises us, Rav says in the Gemara, that a person should study Torah even below Shema, eventually you will reach a point of the Shema. That's what this pasuk teaches us. So the Gemara asks the question of, the Gemara asks, if a person studies not for the sake of the mitzvah, he receives wealth, surely, Bolshevik, logically, you study the Shema for the sake of the mitzvah of Torah, surely have wealth. Why does it say that on the right side of Torah there is long life? It doesn't say wealth. Doesn't he merit, doesn't he deserve more than one who studies not for the sake of of the mitzvah for that itself. The Gemara answers proof. Meaning this pasuk is, on the right side there is not only wealth and kavod, but there is even long life. On the left side, below Shema, there is only wealth and kavod, but not long life. If you want long life, you have to reach the point of the Shema, the second of the Torah, then you will have long life too. This is what the Gemara says. Here, of course, another question arises. The question is, the Gemara says before a child is born, it is decreed in heaven whether the child will be rich or poor, whether the child will be chacham, wise, or tipesh, or a fool. It's not decreed whether the child will be good or bad, tzadik or rasha. Well, the question is, if it is not decreed whether the person will be good or bad, how can it be stated in advance this person will be wealthy or poor? Doesn't that depend upon his being a tzaddik or rasha? Learning Torah lishma for the sake of Torah, or even shelo lishma, or if he doesn't learn Torah at all. The wealth should depend upon his study of Torah. We say that study of Torah brings a person to wealth and kavod. So how can there be a decision in heaven as to whether he'll be wealthy or not, though there is no decision in heaven as to whether he'll be a tzaddik or rasha, whether he learns Torah lishma, or not for the sake of the mitzvah itself? The answer is, this is what the Gemara is saying. The answer to the Gemara is that if a person learns Torah lishma, he will have long life, he will surely have wealth and kavod. Meaning that the Torah is so high, far above the power of the stars, meaning far above the faith of a person, that the entire system of the stars, the galaxy of stars, to contain that person's faith, to be completely juggled around, changed completely so that the person's faith will be altered to be able to have wealth. This is the kavanah and the words of the Gemara. Wealth will be given to that person who studies Torah, even though he may have been fated to be poor originally. If his fate was to be poor, the study of Torah will change that fate. So faith in heaven can be changed. Nothing is higher than a study of Torah itself. The Gemara says that there are different degrees in giving tzedakah, doing good deeds. The one, we have the mitzvah of tzedakah itself, giving money to the poor. Second, there is the mitzvah of milut chasadim, doing a good deed to a person. For instance, there are some people who are poor and who would rather starve than to take money for nothing, either because it's a matter of principle or because they are too embarrassed to receive money from someone. Because of their shyness and embarrassment, these people suffer through life. So a person giving tzedakah actually gives this charity only to those who are a little stronger in nature and don't have this shyness or embarrassment. So he's not helping out those who need it most, those with the finer quality of character. Therefore, greater mitzvah than giving tzedakah is lending money. Lend money to a poor person, of course, without restriction, without setting a example date. Meaning that in your mind you want to help him, you would like to give him charity, but don't want to embarrass him at all. You speak to him not as a rich man to a poor man receiving alms, you speak to him as an equal. A person, a Jew, who wants to make a loan, you say, certainly, here's the amount of money you need for this loan, pay it back when you have it. This is a greater mitzvah than Torah, that's tzedakah. Bigger than tzedakah because you are giving money, helping the poor, without having them experience any ill feeling and embarrassment. The Gemara says there is one mitzvah that is bigger than both of these. The biggest degree, the highest degree is a person who lends someone money, a poor man money, on condition that the poor man goes into business with this rich man as a partner. In other words, not only is this not giving charity to him, something for nothing, it's not even lending money, but the person still feels indebted and perhaps slightly ashamed. This is a direct partnership. He's bringing the poor man up to his own level completely. You and I, the rich man says, we are both equal partners. I invest my half, my share of the money. You will invest your share of the work, and we're equal partners, so that this person can face the world without any ill feeling or feeling of inferiority. The person who does this, aside from the fact that he's helping the poor man to avoid this type of shame, he's also helping the poor man to rise up out of poverty, because he's giving him a chance not just to take a certain amount of money and eat it, completely wipe it out, giving him a chance to invest this money and to be able to repay it completely, to become wealthy himself. And this is the highest level of charity, higher even than giving charity or lending money to the poor. Sometimes we see certain items in this world that are very strange. We have no explanation for it. We can't understand why there are, for example, certain types of insects that are so involved in centipede at 100 feet, insects that are shaped so strangely, insects that are microscopic, bacteria. How come that these are necessary? Why did Hashem create these things, these types of insects? Or besides the insects, other things living in this world that seem to have no value. There's no benefit that the world has for them. He then says, no, that though you don't see it, not one single item in this world, no matter how large or how small, was created without a reason, sufficient reason. The reason for every single item of creation by Hashem. He really gives a few examples. He really says that there is a type of sickness, perhaps it's not prevalent today, but the sickness that would cause blindness. And a certain type of worm, when you grind that worm, place that worm on the person who has this disease, the worm draws out the sickness, the disease from the person who is cured. Same thing too. There are certain types of wounds that a person can have where there's no cure but other types of insects. The sting of a bee, a certain type of bee, even says is one that has no cure except for a fly placed on the wound, and of course again this fly has to be ground up, placed on the wound, and this is the strongest antiseptic, strongest cure for this wound. Same thing, another type of insect for the sake of a snake bite, and so on. These are just a few examples. A person would know, of course, these items if it's find a cure in anything. But above all, the purpose here is to show that everything has a reason. This is superficial, of course. Eventually, there's a lot of more depth in this than is meant here, than it seems superficial. Even as there's two certain things that seem strange. You have one being that is tremendously large and powerful. A second being that is very tiny and weak. Yet there are cases where the large, the giant, the powerful giant is terrified, fear before this tiny little being. As an example, it says there is a small animal, a very tiny animal, it's called a mafia. This mafia, jungle animal, very tiny, very weak, but it has a voice that is so loud that this is the one animal that the lion is petrified of. this animal is so small that a lion could kill it with one small blow. Yet the gibor, the lion, is afraid of this tiny animal. It's obvious, of course, the musar that's found in here. Secondly, there is a small worm that the elephant is afraid of. The elephant can step on thousands of these worms and kill them one step. Yet the elephant is afraid of this tiny worm, because this worm, if it ever crawls up the trunk of the elephant, it's impossible to get it out, and it causes the elephant untold misery when it penetrates the skull. There's also a small fish, kilbit it's called, and the giant fish are afraid of this tiny fish. For the same reason, because it enters through the fins and does harm to the fish. The other point is that a giant could be afraid of something very tiny. Never underestimate the power of an item, and never be misled by something which seems to be powerful and isn't. Arizal's first words in a song, part of a song of Shir, Arizal says, "Do not be like the elephant that is afraid of this tiny insect." A person who's more powerful, stronger than an angel. The Jew is given a power that's greater than an angel. The word Yisrael means he can overpower an angel. And the Yetzer Hara is actually so tiny, like a hairbreadth. And it appears to display something fearful, strange. Do not be like the elephant who is misled into fearing this worm. Do not be a human, a Jew, who is afraid of the Yetzer Hara and to surrender to his demands. Be strong and know your strength. You have the power to overcome any test by the Yetzer Hara. The Menachem explains certain items that seem very simple, and yet throughout the Torah, in the we find matters that appear to be items that have no relation with mitzvot. There are secrets in these words. There are many chapters in the Likutei Moharan that explain these items in detail in depth. Yet the items themselves are clever, even the pshat, simple words. We won't go into the depth. We'll only say that if you want interpretations, you have them in the Mefarshim, especially in the words of the Arizal. Still, the Yemena says that these questions and answers are cleverly given by one of the rabbis of the Yemena. The first question is asked, how come that when a flock travels together, the goats go in advance, the sheep, the lambs follow? This question was asked of one rabbi, but the answer, the reason is that this is like the creation of the world. The creation says, Vahi Erev, Vahi Boker. There was darkness, and then there was light, night and morning. The goats generally are dark-colored, black. The lambs have white wool, or white. Darkness comes before blackness. So we asked, how come that these are covered, that the lambs have a covering, a tail, and the goats do not have any tails? It seems like an item that's irrelevant, and yet it is a fact. There must be a reason for everything. Why do goats have no tails and lambs do? The answer, because those that give us covering are themselves blessed with covering. Goats do not provide us with any wool. Because they don't give us covering, therefore they don't have a tail to cover themselves. Lambs do provide us with wool, therefore they are blessed with a tail. How come that the tail of a camel is very short, while the tail of an ox is very long? Notice that it seems that there's nothing better to do than discuss items like this. As I said, these are very deep hidden meanings, and yet, meanwhile, note the wisdom in knowing the secrets of creation. And a simple fact, That is a logical answer. The rabbi answered because a camel eats thorns. He goes among the thorns, and his tail will get caught in the thorns, whereas an ox lives in a swamp where there are many insects. You must have the tail to beat off these insects. Now he said, how about insects themselves? They have these antennae. How come the antenna is so soft? So he answered, because they have to move around in the sections where they hit against something hard, against a wall, against stone, and they can see with these antennae. If these antennae were hard, they'd walk against the wall, the antenna would break, and they would lose their sight. Proof is, he said, if you ever want to blind one of these insects, though it seems they have eyes, that if you break off the antenna, then you will find that they can no longer see at all. They see with these antennae. Jimenez says there are three beings, creation, who seem to be contrary to nature. The older they get, the stronger they become. Nature is in a person that as he grows older, he becomes weaker. Of course, there's the age, the young age, and the person rises in strength. When he gets to middle age, he starts to descend, going down. Whereas these three, they become older and older. No matter how old they become, the oldest one is the strongest. These three beings are, first, the fish. The older a fish becomes, the stronger he is. The last day in the life of the fish. The older it is, the stronger it is. The second is a snake. And the third is a chazir, pig. There's no such thing as becoming weak in old age. The older they are, the stronger. What is unusual about this is, and the lesson behind it is, that a person would suspect wants to have strength in his old age. How to do it? Eat good food, rich food when you're young. This will give you a lot of vitamins, a lot of proteins, and you can use that as a reserve for old age. But that teaches us that it is not so. These three are the lessons to tell us. The moral lesson is in this. The fish does not eat healthy food. It derives its health from the waters. The fish drinks the waters, and the food that it has in these waters is the least worthy of nutrition. The snake, the food of a snake is earth. You couldn't have anything more worthless than earth itself. The pig eats the worst type of garbage that exists. Yet, these three develop in strength more than any other being. Moral lesson is that a person who wants to be strong should practice calisthenics, develop in strength continually, perpetually. The lesson here is that a person should not attribute strength in old age to the quality of food even in his youth. It is not the quality of food, it is the quality of his deeds, his resort. A person who is good when he is young, Chassidut says, good, he will have a pleasant life in old age. Those who hope to Hashem, who have faith in Hashem, they will renew their strength in their older age. This is the act of the good. Notice that in the case of these three, also observed, we speak of a fish, which is a symbol of tzadikim. Fish lives in water just as the tzadik lives in the waters of the Torah. Fish requires no shechita, is not to be slaughtered. So the tzaddik is not slaughtered by the angel of death. Fish is just gathered in, the same as Hashem gathers in the soul of a tzaddik. Whereas the other two, obviously a snake and a pig, stand for Torah. You have this one battling the other two evil forces. and they increase the strength. The strength is that as time goes by, the battle becomes greater and greater, until eventually Mashiach comes. Then this tzadik, Mashiach, will then take over the victory from all these empires, mighty empires, who are opposed to the Jews. The Gemara says, these big empires are compared to snakes and pigs. They will fall victim to the sword of Mashiach. The sword of Mashiach is the Tefillah. That sword that we must inherit. We too must join in his Tefillah. With the power of our Tefillah, we can be assured of seeing this victory, coming of Mashiach, and downfall of all the enemies of the Jews, rebuilding of Yerushalmi, Kodesh, and the Menachem Mendel Schneerson. Amen.
Tulips aren't good, Mother, you know? They're not good. You know, they'll say always good about poison. What if it is poison? Johnson. Channel 5. She stinks. The house people had lived before. Now there was no one living there.
The house did have occupants, human occupants, and they don't live there anymore because of the fact that humans live there. It's more susceptible, it has a greater drawing power to shaidim. Even as you catch that shaidim enjoy more the place where there are humans in themselves. Much as shaidim have power, for instance. They have heavenly powers, they have powers of malachim, of angels. And yet, they would much rather be human. They envy the humans. That's one of the major reasons why they attack. They're called mazikim. He came to a house. He was traveling on the road. He came to a house that was uninhabited to sell him. And waiting by the door was Eliyahu Hanavi. Eliyahu Hanavi greeted him, and he said to him, Shalom Alecha Rabbi. Rabbi Yossi said. Rabbi Yossi answered, Shalom Alecha Rabbi Umori, which means that Eliyahu Hanavi said to him, Rabbi, it didn't mean my rabbi, it just meant rabbi. He called him Rabbi Yossi, the title. Rabbi Yossi said to him, Shalom Alecha Rabbi Umori, that means already, Mori is already ownership, signifies ownership. You are mine, my rabbi. You see the difference between Rabbi Yossi and his rabbi. Yeah, mine. Still, you say Rabbi alone, you couldn't tell if it means rabbi or my rabbi. But when he adds Mori, then you have a Moreh and Mori. That's two different cases. Moreh means teacher, Mori my teacher. If he says Mori, that proves that Rabbi is my rabbi. Follow? No, so that proves that what? That between the two, Rabbi Yossi was saying to Eliyahu Hanavi, you are my rabbi. And we see the difference from one generation to the next. By his rabbi, Rabbi Yossi's rabbi, Rabbi Arizal, whenever they spoke, Eliyahu Hanavi said to Rabbi Arizal, Rabbi, meaning my rabbi. Rabbi Arizal never called Eliyahu Hanavi rabbi. He always called him Mr. Not exactly Mr., but it means in a sense like not the title rabbi. So great was Rabbi Arizal, they can say to Eliyahu Hanavi, not the word rabbi. And in turn, he was called out. Yossi already, who was a student of Rabbi Arizal, he did not The enemy did not say to him just the name without the word Rabbi Yossi, to say the name without the word Rabbi. He gave him the title Rabbi Yossi. But not that much he got from it, which is also unusual, because the enemy would never call a rabbi by the title Rabbi. Just like Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, who was the rabbi of 5 of the greatest students out, Rabbi Eliezer HaGadol, Rabbi Akiva's rabbi, Rabbi Yeshua, one of the battle of 60 wise men of Athens, was called the sharpest mind, and Rabbi Elazar ben Arach, that's Rabbi Meir, and when he spoke to them, he never called them by the title Rabbi. Teach them that humility. He didn't want to spoil them by calling him Rabbi. You can be so great that it isn't HaGadol, the greatest rabbi in the world, but you're still a student. Remember that. Talmud, and therefore your name is...
student of Eliyahu.
Oh no, speaking about Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai.
Yes, he was
Tiberius,
yes.
You have...
Yes.
Yochanan ben Zakkai, just before the Rambam, you have his grave and his 5 students.
Right.
These 5 students are the greatest 5 rabbis in the world. Rabbi Elazar HaGadol was the rabbi of Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Akiva's rabbi, imagine, Elazar HaGadol, who was Elazar HaGadol actually? Who was called? Huh?
He said Rabbi Meir?
No, that's Elazar HaGadol. Who was Rabbi Elazar HaGadol, really?
Azra.
No. Give me that memory now. Akiva's rabbi, Rabbi Elazar HaGadol, who was he? I once went through this very carefully. It was an amazing bit. That time was like a roof raiser. But if it raised the roof, then it should be there in your memory. Because I tell you, you remember, but I'm not supposed to be telling you. You should have this. Right. What? Not exactly. Not exactly. That's as far as you go, but you're not close enough.
He's so great.
I sure would like to see his rabbi. Imagine that. Moshe said, all right, here's his rabbi. He saw it looked like a dog teaching at the Akiva. He saw, he got a Kadosh Baruch. He saw that they were once going along the road, and Rabbi Akiva asked Rabbi Elazar HaGadol this question. How come that it says, it's a very delicate question, very delicate. You got to listen to it with not broad-minded and with that. It says that Hashem said, let there be light. There was light. Hashem said, let there be a heaven, there was heaven. But at the Adam he told Hashem saw that it was good. So yes, this is impossible to understand. Hashem saw it was good. After it was done, he saw it was good. Like the hot dealer, a person who manufactures an item, he works on it, he surveys the finished product he sees came out good. Say Hashem saw that it was good. He said, this is not possible to say about Hashem. He knew it was good before he made it. There's no past and future with Hashem. Everything is in the present. And as Gadol said, you're asking a question about first day, second day, third day. The answer is that Hashem taught. Hashem said, let us create man. This is to teach humility to people on earth, to judges. Judges should decide themselves to be humble enough to take others in like they're equal to others. And he said, you didn't get to the main point. The third day, the fourth day, the fifth day, and he started to cry. Akiva said to him, Veda, why are you crying? He said, I'm crying about the sixth day. That we have to go to the sixth day. He said, why is it we're going to cry about it? I was like, I don't say because each day represents 1,000 years of creation. Hashem created the world to last for 6,000 years. Then comes the Shabbat, that means Mashiach never makes it. The first day and the second day represent the first 2 years of creation. There was nothing.
First one,
First 2,000 years of creation, there was nothing. But just before the Torah was given, it's called the world of void, nothing. After 2,000 years, the Torah was received from heaven, and then it's a world of Torah. So that's gone. It doesn't count. Third day, Torah was given the time of Moshe Rabbeinu. Then we have a world. Fourth day, that's the 2,000 years of Torah. 2,000 years exactly. The time the Torah was given till they had the Beit HaMikdash. In other words, this was the generation of Torah. 4,000 years finished. Came, what are the next 2,000 years called? What would those 2,000 years be called? A time, the period. This is the period.
2, 1 is 2. Now you went back to 4.
No, 2. 1 and 2 is one period. The period of Torah. It's called period of void.
Void. 2 years.
3 and 4, the period of Torah. In other words, the Beit HaMikdash also stands for Torah. Ki mitzion tetzeh Torah. Zion in itself, and the Beit HaMikdash comes Torah. That's the second period. Divided into 3 periods, then comes Shabbat. The first one is the period of void. The second, the period of Torah. What's the third one called? Automatically, the period of Mashiach. What a Mashiach? He said, I'm crying because just as the void began, the beginning of the first 1,000, when that began, the beginning of its own 2,000 years, when is Mashiach supposed to come? The beginning of the 5th year. But I see ahead. I see ahead. I see that before the 5,000th will go through. A whole 1,000 years, Mashiach will not come. He could come the first day of the 5,000th year. That's the Yemot HaMashiach, the time for Mashiach to come. The beginning of the 5,000th. We're now towards the end of the 6,000. We are now 5,731. That means we're closing towards the end of the 6,000.
6,000, that's it.
Yeah. 6,000 years ends. It's finished. But he should have come in the year 4,999. No, 4,001. Oh, 4,000. The end of the 4,000. The first 2,000, the second 2,000, then starts 4,001, going into the 5,000. You should come to the year 4,001. And I see that,
which is 1,700 years ago.
Right. So I see that in the entire, not century, the entire 1,000 years of the 5,000, I see will not come. So the whole 1,000 years is called daveh, which means pain. The Zohar Kadosh says daveh, kol hayom daveh. It's a pasuk in Echad. The whole day is pain. Which day is that? 5th day. Zohar Kadosh says why? The whole day, the whole 5th day is pain, which means the whole 5,000th year is pain. Daveh is the letters Dalet, Vav, Hey. Backwards is Hey, Vav, Dalet is Hod. Everything goes according to the Shvilo. The first day is Chesed, the second day is kiruv, the third day is Tiferet, the third is Torah. Fourth, Netzach, fifth is Hod. The 5,000 is Hod. Hod means beauty. Mashiach to come. But when it's turned over, it becomes Daveh, pain. Therefore, he said, I see that this Hod, Mashiach, 5,000, will be, it should be, the beauty of Mashiach's coming, to be turned over to 1,000 years of pain. Therefore, I'm crying. Crying furthermore, he said, because I see the 6,000, and he will not come in the beginning of the 6,000. I see he'll come it'll go into the 6,000th year. So it won't be in the beginning. It'll go into it towards Erev Shabbat. Just like the light candles, it gets closer to dark, that's how it'll come closer past the afternoon, which means past the year 6,500. I mean 5,500. Past the half of the 6,000. Past the year 5,500. So once it's past 5,500, it becomes called Erev Shabbat. Preparation for Shabbat.
What is Shabbat? How long?
It's preparation for Shabbat.
Do you understand what he just... How long is Shabbat? It means more.
So I see why you're crying, and he started to cry too. Much more bitterly. So, as the Gadol said, if you're crying, you're shedding even more tears than I am. Do you feel this Khurban more than I do? That's a Khurban. 1,000 years to go by without Mashiach coming. No bigger Khurban than that. They go into the 6,000. He said, I see a bigger Khurban than you see, than what you said. He said, I see a Khurban of the whole world the day that you pass away. A tzadik whose mouth comes forth such gems. When this mouth will stop speaking, you'll be this galek. I see the greatest Khurban in the world. So greatly did he estimate that he lives like a daughter's rabbi. This Moshe Rabbeinu saw. He said, Hashem, I have a craving desire. I want this one to come from me. Lives like a daughter should come from me. This should be my son. Hashem said, great. Mind you, in the Chumash, it says, Zohar shows us, Chumash it says the Ferush, the Shemot, Moshe Rabbeinu had 2 sons. He had a son, Gershom, the second son. And he had the Gadol HaGadol, Eliezer, and his oldest son, Eliezer. It doesn't say his Gadol Bachor, firstborn. The Gadol HaGadol Eliezer. This is where the Eliezer HaGadol came from. He was direct Gilgul of Moshe Rabbeinu's son. This was the same one. This Moshe Rabbeinu asked for, and this he got. Understand? Okay, now.
The rabbis notice this.
What?
This question and answer on this.
Huh? It hasn't got vowels. Right? Without vowels, you can pronounce it 2 ways. Med, Shin, Yud, Chef.
Mashiach.
At the end must be Ach. No, you can't change that.
Yes, I'm trying, but
It must be Ach at the end. There's no question about it.
Change the mem, the vowel of the mem, the mem or...
You change the vowel of the mem and the vowel of the shin. But you can also change something else. Besides that, there's something which is a vowel and yet which is not a vowel. Yes. Sin. A dot, it's a vowel, it's a dot. But that dot could be pronounced sh on the right side or s on the left.
Right.
So therefore the word Mashiach, if you change the vowel, not the vowel, but change the dot, you have Mashiach, which means tefillah.
That's
yeah. So Benazal says that's Benazal's English. Now the Benazal explains, but that's English we can understand. Why the tefillah of a person is not, if that has no effect at all, later will have effect. Why it has effect immediately? Because Mashiach himself did tefillah, he'll go to war. He'll win a battle with his sword and with his arrows. The Torah says, who said that statement? Yaakov said, I conquered Shechem with my Chardi, Bekashti, with my sword. Cherev is a sword, Chardi my sword. Bekashti, and with my bow and arrows. Bekashti, change the vowels. Bakashati, my bakasha, my tefillah. So what weapons did I use? I used tefillah. This was the weapon of Mashiach. Since Mashiach himself is tefillah, Mashiach,
Change the vowel.
You were missing for half an hour. So we went through a lot.
I got to call him.
Huh? Oh. So, therefore, the connection between our tefillah and Mashiach's coming. It's connected with every single tefillah. Okay, now, so, as we said, Rabbi that the Yossi, being the student of the Arizal, had Yaakov and Avi come to him and say, and he said, what are you doing in this kiruv, this place of tzadik? Why did he ask him that? We come back to the topic of that. He said that a house that is uninhabited is any place where there's no civilization. Automatically is a place for shaitim. But much more so, a place that once had been inhabited. Because shaitim have a nature, as much as they have heavenly powers, powers of angels, they envy humans. Their envy is a kind of thing. They cannot so. They try to, as much as they have heavenly powers, powers of angels, they envy humans. Their envy is a kind of thing. They cannot so they envy them and they try to reach them and they get. They envy them and they hate them for it. So in most cases, shaitim are also called mazikim. They use their powers to harm humans as much as possible. In the old days, the shaitim would come and would actually do physical harm. They had the right to invade homes freely, homes, streets, and actually cause physical harm. A wall would cave in or something, they could do it. Later, the Gemara says that the head of the shaitim met Rabbi Mendel Schneerson was one of the top students of Menachem Mendel Schneerson. Recall the story that Menachem child was sick. He prayed for it, but he helped him. And if he didn't came inside, he prayed when he got there because he was so beloved by Hashem. So this chief of the shaitim with his gang came. He wanted to honor him. So he looked at it. He said, "No," he said to him, "No, you. We would have killed you. Not killed you. We would have practically killed you. We would have wounded you to a point where you could have been made crippled for the rest of your life." He said, "Why did you do it?" He said, "Because we visit heaven frequently. In heaven we hear the voice of heaven saying continually, be careful of careful of his kavod. You're so great. Not to the fact that heaven thinks so highly of you, it would have crippled you for life." He said to them, if heaven thinks so much of me, then I command you never to come again. You and all your shaitan never to come again into the city. So he said, started crying, take us out of the city. Give us a little bit of a chance. We'll stay with you. Give us a chance to visit at least. Visiting rights. So he said, all right. I'll give you visiting rights. Twice a week, in the evening, you're allowed to come into the city. Tuesday night and Friday night. Those 2 nights you come into the city. Friday night, customary, that a Jew, in most cases, in many cases, exception of course, a Jew comes home Friday night. What does he do? He makes the douche, he eats, he learns, he goes to sleep. The person generally is sleepy on Friday night. There's a certain spice in food, Shabbat, that is heavenly. There's a certain spice in the sleep of Shabbat that is more pleasure to the Shabbat sleep than any other sleep of the week. There's something special about the sleep of Shabbat. The Chassidut says that the word Shabbat stands for Shena, Shabbat Tavis. Shena means sleep. Shena is Shabbat, Tanu. Tanu means pleasure. Sleep on Shabbat is Tanu, is pleasure. Therefore, the Nosson said Friday nights you go into the city, the streets, because good Jews don't go out to the house Friday night. They come home, they stay home. They don't go out, they'll walk, they don't go out visiting. Tuesday night, also, those days was a time when they had to prepare for the kiruv were given on Tuesday, and they stay home to study, so therefore it was customary not to go outside that day. The Gemara says that they had this freedom on Tuesday night and Friday night. Then, one day, they came into the city again. And this was 30 years later. They met Abaye. The rabbi was the colleague of Rava, all the specialty of Abaye and Rava. And they said to Abaye, we would have crippled you. But just that in heaven, the voice says, be careful about Abaye and his Torah. He spreads Torah more than any rabbi in the Gemara. In the entire Gemara you find more statements about Abaye and Rava than any other rabbi in the Gemara. Amora'im Tatane. Tanim were the rabbis of the Shnem. Menachem Mendel Schneerson, Arizal, Kiruv. These are the rabbis of the Gemara. Abaye said, if I am considered so valuable in heaven, I will decree that you don't live in a city. You were given rights a few hundred years ago, Tuesday night and Friday night, you threatened to do harm, finish, I take away those rights. And then it said they were driven out. That's why in a city you will never see a shed. To see a shed, they used to actually see it. In those days they could actually see them. Difficult.